In this fourth tutorial, we want to create the lamp support for the lamp project. So we'll start with a new sketch. In this case, we're actually going to sketch directly off this surface here. We should come up with this warning, and what we're going to do is we're just going to select capture position. And that's because we've moved these components from their original location from where they were sketched. Now that's gone off the screen, so I'm just going to pan down, and I might as well just zoom in as well so we're getting a bit closer in here. Now essentially what we're going to do is we're going to draw a rectangle on here, but because we're working at an angle, it's going to be easier and better for us just to using the line tool. So L for line. We'll start down here somewhere and we'll just go click and then go up, and what we want is we want 100 tab, and it's 105 degrees, which is what I've got there. But if you haven't got 105, just type that in, because the other thing that you will get is you'll get the little right angle symbol, which it's a little bit faint in there, but you might be able to see it in on that little face there. Then we can just press enter. Oh, that moved. Okay, I'll just try that again. I just mustn't have pressed enter enough. So I've got 100, tab 105, enter. That's worked now. L for line again. We'll come up here, and yeah, we want this right angle symbol, but again, if you don't have it, you can just type in the actual angle. So we want 30, tab, and in this case 165, which is what we've got, enter. I just had to press it twice. I'm just going to move that 100 out of the way. L for line again. So we go from this point here, we go straight down, and we want it to be 100, tab, and in this case we want it to be 75 degrees. And you can see, again, it's a little bit faint in there, but you'll see a little right angle symbol on that face. So I've got that. L for line, our final line. Now, if we've got this right, we should be getting 30 and 15 degrees, which is what we've got. Okay, so there's still a couple of dimensions that we've got to put in there because this is not yet fully defined. You can see we've got those blue lines there. So D for dimension, and we want this line here and then the end here, and we want this to be 25. And again, we want to define, we've got that distance there, but then we want the distance between this point here and this line here, and again we want that to be 25. There we go. So now, and it's all black lines, so it's now fully defined, so we can finish that sketch. Okay, the first thing we're going to do before we actually create the part is we're going to cut the cross halving joint into our original sort of assembly up here. And basically in the real world, this is how we're going to do it. We're actually going to construct this piece, glue it all together, and then we're going to cut a cross halving joint into it. So we'll go extrude. We just want this center section here. We're going to push that out, and we're going to go minus. So I'll just make sure that's selected. It's a little bit laggy. Minus 12.5. And we want that to cut. So perfect, excellent. Okay, so you can see it's cut it. Let's just turn that sketch back on. And what we'll do now is we're going to just turn the main and the sub arms off, and we're going to do pretty much the opposite. So we're going to do this in a couple of parts. We're going to select this part here, and go minus 25, which is the full thickness. And what we want is we want a new component, and we go OK. Then we've got one more extrude, and we're just going to now just do minus 12.5. And in this case, we're going to join it, and we go OK. Now, of course, we'll be good. Right click, and we're going to rename this, and we'll call it lamp support. And then up here again, let's be good. Okay, let's turn everything on. I'll just turn the sketch off, and we'll orbit around and just make sure everything's in the right place. I'm just going to press escape, click away. Yeah, now orbit. Just make sure everything's in the right place. Perfect. Now there's one more thing we've got to do, and I'll just show you what the issue is. So remember in the last tutorial, we created this nice animated joint. Okay, you can see what the problem is. At the moment, that component just sits out in space and it doesn't have any relationship with anything else. So what I'm just going to press undo so I get everything back in the right place. And if you remember before, remember how we made this, we actually turned this into a rigid group. What we need to do is basically re-edit that rigid group so that it includes this piece here as well. Now, if you go up here into relationships and you see rigid groups, you can actually see that rigid group there. It's just easier if we select that rigid group and we just delete it, and then back down here we can just go click and then hit our shift key and go click. We've now got these 4 pieces, right click, rigid group, and go OK. So now when we do this, everything moves together. We're going to do that one more time when we finish creating the entire lamp structure in the next couple of tutorials.